Day 6 of the Diddy trial started like normal. Reporters were outside early, waiting to see what new information would come out. But no one expected what happened next.
Monique walked into the courtroom. Yes, that Monique, the actress and comedian. The whole room went quiet. Even the judge looked surprised. This wasn't just any guest. Monique was here with a purpose.
She wasn't on the witness list. No one saw this coming. But when she took the stand, everything changed. Monique looked calm. She said clearly, "I'm here to tell the truth."
She didn't just share her story. She brought dates, receipts, and documents. She backed up everything with proof. And what she said, it wasn't just about Diddy. It involved some of the most powerful names in Hollywood. Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, Bishop T.D. Jakes. The courtroom went silent. People were listening closely. Even Diddy's lawyers looked nervous.
Disclaimer: the content on this channel may contain gossip-based information, rumors, or exaggerated portrayals of reality. Please exercise your own discretion while watching, and remember that not all information presented may be factual or verified.
Monique told the court about a private phone call with Tyler Perry in 2018. She said Tyler admitted that blacklisting her from Hollywood was wrong. He told her he would apologize publicly, but he never did. When I asked why, he said it would cause problems for some people, Monique said. I asked who? He said Puff. Puff Daddy, Diddy, whatever you want to call him. That one sentence shocked the courtroom.
Monique didn't just talk, she came prepared. She gave the court a written transcript of the call with Tyler Perry. In it, he says, "There are things going on that I can't be connected to publicly. We've all seen things at pots parties we're not supposed to talk about." The judge didn't allow the audio yet, but the written transcript was accepted as evidence. Monique also talked about a strange party she attended in 2006. It was hosted by Diddy. An actor she trusted invited her, saying it was a good place to meet people in the industry. But when she got there, she felt something was wrong. Her phone was taken away at the entrance. Some people were in bathrobes. Others were being taken into private rooms. A woman told her, "You're safe here, just sign the NDA." Monique said she refused to sign anything and left immediately. After that, she said her phone stopped ringing. Producers stopped calling her. Her career suddenly slowed down.
The court asked, did she think this was done on purpose? Monique said, yes, I believe it was planned. When I said no, they pushed me out. Then the court asked, do you believe Tyler Perry was protecting Diddy? She said yes, and I believe he wasn't the only one. She also reminded the court of something people had seen before. When Tyler Perry wrote a $1 million check to Bishop T.D. Jakes live on stage at a church. People saw that as a good thing, she said. Now I wonder, was it more than that? Monique's story changed everything. This trial started as a case against Diddy, but now it's also about something bigger. A system where powerful people stay silent, protect each other, and push out anyone who speaks up. Monique told the court she had been speaking out for years, but no one listened. Now they had no choice. Her voice was strong, her proof was real, and what she said,
"It could change everything. I saw it like a transaction," Monique said. "That donation wasn't just a gift, it was a way to cover things up." She looked at the courtroom. That church wasn't just a church that day, it became a shield. People like Diddy use things like that to make friends in high places, so no one can touch them. People in the courtroom began whispering. Even the judge looked up, watching the jury take fast notes. Monique then explained that right around the time Tyler Perry gave that $1 million to Bishop T.D. Jakes, stories about Diddy's strange parties started vanishing from gossip blogs. "That's when I realized," she said, "people were being paid, silenced. That money wasn't just for the church, it was for peace, for silence." The lawyers then showed photos of Perry and Diddy smiling together at a BET event just weeks after that donation. Arms around each other like nothing was wrong. It backed up what Monique was saying.
Hollywood didn't just protect Diddy, it lifted him even higher. She took a breath, looked directly at the judge and said, I'm not scared of being pushed out anymore. I've already lived through it. But silence, that's the highest price we all pay. And many of us have already paid it. The courtroom grew silent. Then, slowly, Monique pulled out a paper from her bag. This is the phone call, she said. The one where Tyler Perry admitted he was wrong. People gasped. Whispers filled the air. For years, Monique had said Tyler Perry apologized to her in private about how she was treated after the Precious fallout. But now, she was saying it under oath, and this time, she had proof. I recorded it, she told the court. He knew. I told him I was recording, and he said he was fine with it. She gave the paper to the bailiff, who walked it over to the judge. The judge scanned the first few lines, then nodded for the trial to continue.
In the transcript, Tyler Perry reportedly said, "I know I messed up. You weren't difficult. You just didn't want to work the free." I should have said that out loud. Then the tone shifted. "But I can't go to public," Perry added. "Puff's name is tied to too much right now." The prosecutors stepped in at that moment. They explained how many big names in Hollywood, even the clean ones, stayed quiet. Because if Diddy's secrets ever came out, a lot of people would fall with him. Monique nodded and said, "He told me that if Puff goes down, a lot of people go down with him. The people who fund the movies, the people who write the checks." This moment in the trial made the courtroom feel heavy. Monique's words didn't just sound like a story. They sounded like confirmation of everything people like Diddy's former bodyguard Gene Deal and actor Christian Keys had hinted at before. This wasn't just about parties, it was about power, control, and silence.
"It was bigger than just me," Monique said, her voice shaking just a little. "He had a chance to clear my name, but he didn't, because he was protecting something darker, something no one wants to talk about." The judge looked up and ruled the recording transcript as allowed in the trial. It was a big moment for the prosecutors. Across the courtroom, Diddy's lawyers looked shaken. What was once just a private call had now become official court evidence. But then, a name drop that no one expected: Oprah Winfrey. And Monique didn't bring her up by mistake. In 2010, she said, "I told Oprah something very personal, that I was abused by my brother when I was a child. She said she wouldn't use that, but she did. She put him on her show, and she did it right after I said no to doing the Precious press tour." The courtroom was silent. It was raw. It was painful. But Monique kept going.
"She betrayed me. And when I asked her why, she said, 'It's just business.' But I knew the truth," she said. "They were trying to shut me up." Then she connected everything: Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Diddy. She said they all used the same team of lawyers, PR experts, and people who handle problems. They all used the same people to clean up messes. She said, "I know, because one of those PR people made a mistake and sent me an email they weren't supposed to." She said the email had her name, Diddy's name, and Tyler Perry's name, all in the subject line. It was about how to manage the public story. Monique handed a blacked-out version of that email to the judge. He took it for review, but her point was clear. This wasn't just about protecting Diddy. This was a system, a group effort. People were told to sign NDAs. People were paid to stay quiet. Careers were made or destroyed, depending on who played along.
Then Monique looked at the jury, her voice calm, strong. "This is a machine," she said. "A silence machine. It's built to crush anyone who asks questions." She closed her binder. Her hands didn't shake. Her voice didn't break, because for the first time, she wasn't just telling her story. She was under oath. She was testifying. After a short break, the court returned. And then Monique said something no one saw coming. "Now," she said quietly, "let's talk about the list." The room went completely silent. The prosecutors leaned in, letting her speak. "There's a list in Hollywood," she said. "It's not written down, but everyone knows it's real. It's the list of people you're not allowed to speak against. Puff was on that list. Tyler was on that list. And Oprah, she helped make that list." Monique explained that this list was like a wall. If you spoke out, even with proof, you were suddenly labeled difficult, crazy, or dangerous to the industry. She said she landed on the other side of that wall back in 2010, and she's been fighting her way back ever since. She didn't just drop names to attack, she gave context. "Have you ever noticed," she asked, "how many people worked with Diddy, Tyler, and Oprah and then suddenly disappeared?" She named actors who had one hit show or one big award and then were never seen again. Some of them didn't play the game, she said. Some of them said no. Then she lowered her voice and said something that chilled the room. And some of them saw things they were never supposed to see. Her final minutes on the stand were devastating. Monique looked out at the jury, not to plead, not to perform, but to confirm. Her voice didn't rise, it lowered, and that made everyone lean in. "You think they stop at ruining your name," she said, eyes steady. "No, they come for your health, your spirit, your mind." She described the years after she was branded difficult. The phone calls that never came, the scripts that were suddenly in development hell, the roles recast without explanation. But worse, the whispers. The meetings she was never invited to. The invitations that were revoked. They wanted me gone so quietly, she said. You think I never existed. A pause. But I did exist. I do exist. And now I'm speaking. The judge didn't interrupt. The prosecution didn't object. The defense didn't breathe. Then she reached down and pulled out one last folder. I wasn't going to bring this, she said. But then I thought, why protect the people who tried to erase me? She handed it to the bailiff.
Inside, a timeline. Emails, voicemails, DMs from producers, assistants, even executives. Some anonymous, some bold, all showing patterns. Cancellations within minutes of meetings with certain higher-ups. Mentions of Monique's name attached to phrases like reputation risk, not aligned with brand, or the most haunting one, PR nightmare. The judge took the folder, the jury leaned forward again. Then Monique said it, slow, measured, and without blinking. There's a machine in this town. It eats the loud ones. It devours the truth-tellers. And then it hands out awards to the ones who stayed quiet. No one moved. Not even the stenographer. She glanced over at the prosecution, then at the defense, and finally at the press gallery. I didn't come here to destroy anyone, she said. I came here to free someone. Maybe Cassie. Maybe me. Maybe some kid watching this from a tiny apartment thinking silence is the price of success.
And then she said the line that will live in courtroom transcripts forever. I'm not here because I lost my voice. I'm here because I finally chose to use it. The judge called for recess, and as Monique stepped down, the room stayed silent, not out of respect, but because no one could figure out how to follow that kind of truth. The prosecution's voice cut through the quiet. In your opinion, Miss Jackson, what is the root cause of this entire system of silence? Monique didn't blink. Fear. One word, but it landed like a verdict. Everybody in this industry is scared, she continued. Scared to lose a job, a deal, relevance. Scared to tell the truth. Because people like Puff, like Tyler, and yes, like Oprah, have made it very expensive to do so. She turned her head slowly, eyes resting on Diddy. Her voice dropped, low but sharp.
You thought no one would ever speak. That your empire was built strong enough to mute the truth. But now you're sitting in silence. And I hope you finally hear us. The courtroom stilled. Even the hum of the AC felt loud. Court reporters noted Diddy's reaction. Hands trembling. His lawyer whispering urgently. Eyes wide. The energy in the room shifted. Not loud, but charged. Like static before lightning. Monique, once discarded, dismissed, blackballed, now stood as the trial's most undeniable voice. And then, in a move no one expected, she turned toward the defense and whispered a name that had hovered like smoke all week, but never been spoken aloud. Tyler Perry. Not shouted, not flung like an accusation. It was quiet, deliberate, like the click of a safety switch before the trigger is pulled. Gasps rippled across the gallery. Confusion at first. Tyler Perry wasn't on trial. His name wasn't in the indictment. But that was the point.
This wasn't just about law. It was about power, about the culture that protected it. You want to talk about silence? She said, eyes locked on the jury. Ask Mr. Perry why I was blackballed after refusing to work for free. Then, ask who stood beside him at every gala, every press event, every award show. She didn't pause for drama, but the courtroom did. Even the judge looked up. He didn't lift a finger to help me, she said, but he made sure no one else would either. Then she held it up, a folder, thick, yellow, unintroduced into evidence. The defense jumped up. Objection! But it didn't matter. The jury had already seen it. The press was scribbling. Monique pressed on. Ask the producers, the agents. Ask Lee Daniels. I've got the call logs. The room tilted. Suddenly, this wasn't just about Monique, or Cassie, or even Diddy. This was about the machinery.
I know who was at the parties, she said. I watched people sign the NDAs. I was told, be grateful. You're lucky to be here. And when I spoke out, my phone stopped ringing. And then she dropped the hammer. I have audio. A phone call. Tyler, apologizing, saying he was wrong, admitting it. But he wouldn't go public. He said it would ruin everything. Gasps again. The prosecution went still. Even they hadn't heard this. She stared straight ahead, calm, resolved. I'm done protecting men who never protected me. Silence. Not because no one had anything to say, but because everything had been said. And for the first time in the trial, the jury wasn't just looking at Diddy. They were looking at Hollywood itself, and all the hands that kept him shielded for so long.